Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.
Welcome to the greatest source of edutainment this side of the Sahara. This is the Great Debaters Contest, camping in Kakamega. I am Austin Nyumbok.
And I am Mariam Bishar. So should citizens be in direct control of government expenditure? We have Friends School Tigoi and Chavakali High School going head-to-head on this one. We'll let them take the stage. First proposer, you have 3 minutes.
My name is Duimbaze Giselle from Friends School Tigoi Girls, and today I stand here strongly to propose the motion that states that citizens should be directly involved in control of government expenditure. First, allow me to give you the definition of the main key terms that are found in this particular motion. Who is a citizen? According to Evolving World Book 2, it clearly defines a citizen as a person who has the legal right to belong to a particular country. And what is this government expenditure that we're talking about? It is simply the means by which a particular state or country spends its acquired revenue. And what do we mean by the citizens getting directly involved in control of government expenditure? They can do this by either reading the newspapers, reading the magazines that contain information about government expenditure, so that they can attest to the accuracy of the given information. Ask me why is it that today Duimbaze stands here strongly to propose this motion, and I'll tell you this. This is the first point that I have, that citizens, if they are involved in direct control of government expenditure, it will actually ensure accountability and transparency. This is because the citizens that will be given the mandatory and the responsibility to ensure the government expenditure goes in accordance to what the citizens expect will do this with utmost good faith, simply because they'll be aware that they will be answerable to each and every claim of misappropriation of funds, each and every claim of mismanagement of funds that will be taking place. Let's not forget the current scandal, the NYS scandal that took place in the Ministry of Devolution. Do you know that it was alleged that 781 million shillings, imagine, was actually misappropriated? And this is because the government, we lacked the knowledge. We were not directly involved, because we could be in a position now to determine where was the money allocated. We could be in a position to determine how the money was spent, simply because we'll now be having the clue about spending of that particular 791 million shillings. My second point is that involving citizens directly in Kenya will be appropriate, simply because you are the direct beneficiaries of this government expenditure. For heaven's sake, you don't go to a hospital and the doctor looks at you and then says, according to your size, you look like a sufferer of diabetes. But simply, you tell the doctor, doctor, my head is paining. Doctor, my neck is paining. Not until you tell the doctor the symptoms, it will now be definitely that he will give you the solution according to the symptoms that you give him. But the government has taken the mandatory and coming to construct projects that we've not articulated the grievances and the problems that you are suffering. For example, the 40 billion Konza Techno City project that was situated in Machakos and Makueni County. These particular counties, they are semi-arid. But what does the government do? Goes there, constructs a luxurious city. Imagine if the citizens could have been asked, what is it that you people want? We could have given reasons such as, we need irrigation schemes. We need water supply to be increased in this particular county, not the luxurious city that was constructed. We do not disagree that indeed it was a splendid idea, but that is not of the first priority that we people of Machakos and Makueni are facing. Thank you very much.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to give your opening statements.
Too much of anything could destroy you, Simon thought. Too much darkness could kill, but also too much light could blind. Kyogo Matthews Oyuko from Chavakali High School, here to strongly oppose a motion that says citizens should be directly involved in the control of government expenditure. First of all, who is a citizen in this context? A citizen is anyone who has the legal rights to live, belong, or do freely anything that has to do with his life in a country. What of direct involvement? This is the full participation of someone in something with nothing in between. Control is to take charge of something or someone. Government expenditure. This is the consumptions, investments, and transfer of payments by the government. On to my first point. Illiteracy levels in Kenya are high. What do I mean by this? Citizen participation may be manipulated because of high illiteracy levels. Take an example of a study done by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics in the year 2015. More than 15 counties in Kenya have over 30% illiteracy levels. Turkana being the highest with 82%, closely followed by Marsabit with 78%, and Wajir holds the third position with 74%. Do you think that involving citizens in the direct control of government expenditure would work in such a scenario? Don't you think such people are prone to manipulation by rogue leaders? A quote by Daniel Patrick Moynihan, "Citizen participation is a device whereby public officials induce non-public individuals to act in a way the officials desire." Furthermore, public complacency. Lawrence and Deegan, 2001. In cases where the public is likely to accept the mandate of an agency decision maker, a participatory process is necessary. A survey conducted in Australia by the Australian government in 2010 gave citizens in the small town of Sydney the mandate to influence government decisions. Out of 100%, only 5% of the population even bothered to follow up on anything the government did. Why? Others cited that they had leaders to do that for them. So what is the relevance of involving citizens in government expenditure, yet we have leaders to do this? What is the relevance of involving citizens in government expenditure, yet they themselves don't want to be involved in this? Costly to manage. What do I mean by involving citizens in government expenditure being costly to manage? When you want to involve citizens in control of government expenditure, you have to do mass civic education. You have to educate the civilization on how to control this expenditure. According to VNG International in 2010, the amount of money Kenya might use to educate the masses on public participation totals 7.9% of our annual budget. 7.9%. Education gets a total percentage of 12.3%. That's a difference of 5.6. Does it mean governing ourselves and educating ourselves are almost equal? I think not. Thank you.
Time for rebuttals. We'll begin with the ladies. You have 3 minutes.
I'm Chola Stacy from Friends School Tigoi, standing here to strongly propose this motion which says that citizens should be directly involved in the control of government expenditure. And before I give out my points, I would like to cross-check what my opponent said. The issue of illiteracy does not make the citizens to know or to have the right to know how the government spends its revenue, since these citizens are the ones who give out the taxes. So the illiteracy level does not come about. They need to know how the government spends its revenue. My first point, when these citizens are directly involved in the control of government expenditure, the citizens will be economically stabilized and they will be improve their living standards. Let's take an example when the president recently visited Nyandarua and Nyeri County and had a conversation with coffee farmers. What did they say? They say that the farmers said that the coffee farmers said to the president to write off the debts they had as farmers and also to subsidize the fertilizers. And through this, we can find that the price of fertilizers per bag was reduced from 1,800 shillings to 1,200 shillings. And this in turn increased the exportation of coffee to foreign countries from 9.8% 2016 to 13.2% 2017. My information is from Kenya Bureau of Statistics.
The second opposer, you have 3 minutes for your rebuttal.
Too many cooks spoil the broth. Kugo Stewart from Chavakali High School opposing the motion that says that citizens should be directly involved in the control of government expenditure. To give my cross-examination, we have been told about accountability and transparency. Have this as a food of thought. My first speaker has just said that according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, more than 15 countries in Kenya more than 15 counties or rather experience a 30% level of illiteracy. Do you expect citizen participation in such counties to be efficient? Let me give you an example. If people in this hall at this particular time were supposed to come up with the budget, and this section didn't know anything about economics, and this section knew something about economics, do you expect the whole process to be efficient? No. Simply because half of the hall doesn't have the knowledge about economics, and so the budget at the end of the day won't be the real thing that will be needed. The second point that the proposers made was about doctors, in that when a patient goes to the hospital, he goes, consults the doctor then tries to figure out the symptoms, and the disease is cured. The same way the citizens do. After 5 years, they elect their leaders represent them. The leaders are the ones who make the budget, and the budget is the one which affects the citizens. We are not against involvement of citizens, we are not against the involvement of citizens in government participation. Citizens are allowed to involve in government participation, that is according to the Constitution. What we are against is citizens being involving directly. Instead, the citizens are supposed to elect their leaders are supposed to go to parliament, they're supposed to make the laws, they're supposed to implement the decisions, they're supposed to interpret the decisions for the citizens to be able to know. The proposers also criticized about the development of Kwanza City. Let me take you to the Middle East. We all know of United Arab Emirates, the capital city, Dubai. Don't you know that United Arab Emirates is a dry country? It's a dry country. Don't you? The same way Kwanza City is situated in a place where it's dry is the same way Dubai City in United Arab Emirates is situated in a place where it's dry. The dryness of the place doesn't mean that the government is simply wasting money in that project. The government has a reason as to why it decided to allocate funds to Kwanza City. The third one, the last point, was about time consuming, whereby they talked about the president visiting a particular irrigation scheme, and the farmers of that irrigation scheme talked to the president, and sooner or later it boosted the coffee production and also the coffee exportation. Now, imagine, we are 46.5 million Kenyans. Should the president visit 45.6 million people to make it efficient? Should the president narrow down from each and every person to make it efficient? Think about it.
Thank you very much. To the proposition, wouldn't allowing citizens to be directly involved in controlling government expenditure lead to corruption? And the opposition have been asked, why is it that illiteracy is a factor when it comes to controlling the expenditure, but it's not a factor when people are being taxed by the government, that is? We'll have them respond. Third proposer, you have 3 minutes.
From Friends School Tigoi Girls, I'm Jatfa Manyeleshi, here to strongly propose the motion that states that citizens should be directly involved in the control of government expenditure. I really love the question that has been posed to us, to the proposer side by the audience. We know about corruption. Everyone here knows about corruption. But corruption comes about when we want something to be done. Yes, we know that. But in this case, take it like we are the citizens. We are the ones who are supposed to be involved in the control of government expenditure. So if we know our grievances, why should we then start corrupting ourselves? We do this just because the members of parliament are there. We do not have the access there. And when we involve ourselves as citizens, so I really don't think that corruption can be involved there. On to my first point, direct involvement of citizens in the control of government expenditure will help us to come up with a better and informed decision on the government expenditure. Why am I saying this? Is because let's say the government starts consulting citizens and taking different opinions from them. We'll get that the citizens will give out different opinions, different views, and even different approvals on how to spend the government money. And so, when the government brings all these opinions all together, they'll be able to come up with one strategic method on how to use the government money. Let's take for an example that I have some amount of money and I want to use it. I'll first of all maybe consult Judge A. I may also consult the second judge and also the third judge. And at the end of it all, I'll be able to combine all these opinions and come up with one strategic decision on how to use my money. So the citizens should be involved in the control of government expenditure. Second, citizens should be directly involved in the control of government expenditure because we know very well that the citizens are the source of the money that is being spent in the government. We pay taxes daily. We buy goods daily. Or is there anybody here who does not buy anything? Even a KCL, there's one Bob Sweet. Everybody buys. So I really want to know where this money is taken to. Like, for example, the Kenyan government has just recently borrowed 327 billion Kenyan shillings, mark that word, billion Kenyan shillings, just to construct the standard gauge railway. Do you want to tell me the citizens will also feel nothing that has happened? It's our right as the citizens to know where this money is being taken to. We want to know how much you've spent, because we know very well that we, the citizens, are the ones who are going to pay the taxes, and we are the ones who are going to pay up that debt. So it will be so unfair that we pay taxes daily, we buy our goods daily, and there's nothing that there's nowhere that you are being told how our money is being spent. So that's why I strongly propose this motion. Thank you.
Gentlemen, you have 3 minutes to respond to the audience.
You can't always control the wind, but you can control your sail. Crispin Mutua, Chavakali High School, here to oppose the motion that states citizens should be directly involved in the control of government expenditure. To begin with, I'd like to respond to the question from the audience, that is, why is illiteracy considered in making decisions, yet it is not considered in paying tax? You know, the idea here is that it's not just making a decision. We want a good decision, a decision that has a positive impact. Remember, you are free up to a point of decision, after which the decision you make controls you. On to my first point. It derives the government of its duties. We citizens put the government to power, entrusting it with the mandate or the role of making decisions on our behalf. So what is the essence of us having a government if we want to make decisions by ourselves? Furthermore, it will bring about the aspect of biasness. Currently, the Kenyan population reads 48 million people. The government cannot narrow down to each individual looking for proposals or making decisions to do with government expenditure. Consequently, the government will go for the influential members of the top socio-economic group. And in that case, can't you see that will be promoting biasness? Because the poor or the less privileged in the society won't be involved in participation of making such an important decision. Moreover, citizen participation will increase government spending and borrowing. According to Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, a report by the Central Bank of Kenya shows an increase of expenditure from 1,430 billion in 2013 to over 1,650 billion in 2017. Kenya foreign debt stands at 3.8 trillion as at the moment. This shows a steady increase in expenditure and borrowing attributed to citizen participation as a result of devolution. Also, it results to difficulty of diffusing citizen consent. Let's look at it this way. Kenya is a diversified society with varied ethnic group. According to Ostrom in 1930, suggests that collaborative decision-making works best when the group is small and homogeneous. So in this case, it might not apply. With that, I rest my case.
Final statements now. Friends School Tigoi, you have 1 minute.
This place looks like heaven from here, and therefore I will not attempt to lie. I'll be sincere to you. I come from a family of 24 children, and guess what? 2 years ago, it was only our parents who made the decisions for us. And if as children had anything to say to our parents, we could use the firstborns, the 2 firstborns, to articulate our grievances to our parents. The house, it was chaotic. There was sibling rivalry. There was always fighting just because we were not given a chance to articulate our grievances to our parents directly. It was not until a pastor was called to our house that he advised our parents, please allow the rest of the children, even the small ones, to take part in decision. And luckily I'm the last born, and you can imagine how I complained so much until we are given this right to articulate our grievances directly to our parents. Now we live as one peaceful family, full of love because of the direct involvement. Why doesn't the government want to do the same so that we can curb down the cries, the chaos that are brought about because of the complaints about mismanagement and misappropriation of funds? Please, government, give us only this chance, and we'll be grateful to you forever. Thank you.
Chavakali High School, you have 1 minute as well.
I want to go to school with a phone. I want to chat with my friends when I'm in school. I want to watch videos when I'm in school. But the school rules state that I am not allowed to go to school with a phone. I am not allowed to chat with my friends in school using a phone. If I were given the mandate to influence the school to allow us to bring phones to school, where would my school go? Personally, I know 3 people who are addicted to porn in my school. If they're allowed or they're given the channel to watch porn in school, will they learn? No, they will not learn. They will not read. Their minds will be filled with all they watched at night on their phones, at night in their beds, on their phones. We are not against citizen involvement in government expenditure. We are simply against the direct involvement. We are for indirect involvement through the leaders of the people. Thank you.
Chavakali High School didn't give us the reasons why citizens should be involved directly in government expenditures. Then also, you told us that if citizens are involved directly, there will be over-borrowing and overspending of government resources. Then you didn't tell us how will we be over-borrowing and overspending, because to me, the 2 sides of it have implications. But it was a good debate, and you are strong. You did a better job. Thank you.
To Friends School Tigoi, Dumbaze, good start. I think you were very strong. Of all the teams, I think you came out very strong. Good definition of terms as well, same as Matthews. Good submissions and examples, the NYS scandals that have already been referred to, and good speaker. Ochola, who is absent, that was commendable of her. She was very strong. Good rebuttal. First of all, that was her role playing. That was good rebuttal. Very confident and good speaker as well. And she's a fighter. I believe she's a fighter because she didn't want to get out. And that was commendable as well. Kimario, fair attempt, and all the best to both teams.
Chavakali and Tigoi, I feel you take too long to crystallize your points into granules that you give out. You must always remember, as a debater, you fall in between a scholar and a salesperson, where a scholar focuses mostly on the facts and believes that if you can't say it in 60 minutes, you can't say it in 60 days. And a salesman believes that you need to convince your client and close the sale as soon as possible. So you need to bring out the value proposition, you need to bring it out in a very short time. So crystallization of your point and bring it out to whoever is listening to, that needs to come out.
Chavakali High School, the judges awarded you 67%. Please give them a round of applause. Good job, gentlemen. Friends School Tigoi, the judges awarded you 70%, making you the winners of this debate.
Congratulations to the two teams on stage. We'd also like to thank our studio audience for being very active, and our viewers back home. Keep watching and join the conversation on social media. Hashtag GDC for SDGs. I have been your host, Austin Nyambok.
I am Mariam Bishar. We'll see you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.